Sup internet, so this is our 1976 Shovelhead Chopper. It was a FLH beforehand. I'll insert a picture right there. And yeah, this is basically what we turned it into in probably about 8 months or so. So I'll give you the basic rundown of it. This build features a Throttle Addiction weld-on hardtail frame, and what I really love about their hardtails is that they have these really awesome cast axle plates, just like the original rigid panhead frames and knucklehead frames used to have. And if you're building a classic chopper, you for sure want this awesome look of those cast axle plates that are really dusty right now. But anyways, yeah, shout out to Throttle Addiction because they hooked us up with this hardtail so we could make this build possible. And yeah, that's the frame. Moving along from there, the front wheel is a 21-inch chrome lead sled Invader, and the rubber on there is a Coker Firestone vintage ribbed tire. The lowers on this bike are super unique. They were handmade by Pook's Parts, and they are 6 over the stock length of blowers with some 6 over fork tubes inside of them, and this is a 35mm front end. From there, we have the mini pancake headlight from F&A Customs, which just looks kind of really neat inside of this Sportster eyebrow. Some people hate it, some people love it. I think it's pretty neat. And the bars I always get a lot of questions about. These are 6-inch tall chrome pre-unit bends, and they're hooked up to some 7-inch tall chromed cast risers made by Vitsy Boys. Shout out to Lee. He makes some pretty wicked, incredible risers. You'll see a bunch of dudes running them out in the wild. So yeah, they're pretty awesome. Go check them out. The gas tank is one of my favorite pieces of this whole build. I had this idea to cut out some steel flat stock into this lightning bolt shape and mold it into the tank so it kind of looks like it has bolts coming out of it. Did that on both sides. And it's kind of subtle, and that's what I was going for. Not kind of obvious or anything like that, but yeah, I mean, they look super cool on there. I dig it. From there, this seat is a Kydex seat pan, and Joel from Cornerstone Manufacturing makes those seat pans. Kydex is this material that's malleable under heat, and then Moonrider stitched up this nice seat for us, and it's just a solo seat, kind of like the spade pattern, but it looks really cool on this bike because the flames are accented nicely with the view of the solo seat on there. On the primary side here, we are running a 1.5-inch belt drive, and we had the clutch basket polished up. It's a little dirty right now from riding, but this new pressure plate, chrome, polish, chain, prism slingshot clutch, cheater peg there, and then this jockey shift arm I get a lot of questions about as well. This is actually a human hip implant that I got from the crematory. And I guess I might as well make a separate video about this on how I came about making this, but for another time. The rear wheel is an 18-inch Acron rim laced to just the generic Shovelhead dual flange hub with a 270 on it. People hate the 270s. I think they work for what they do. And of course, up from there is the custom-made lightning bolt sissy bar, which is one of my absolute favorite pieces because it follows that lightning bolt theme like we talked about already on the gas tank. And this bike is named Electric Casket. But yeah, we just bent this sissy bar up from some generic flat stock steel, cut it up, had it chromed, and then I handmade this taillight housing. So this is V1 of my coffin taillights, and as you guys know, we're in Eastern Casket, Eastern Crematory. So just super fitting that I made this coffin taillight for this build. And once again, shout out to Joel from Cornerstone Manufacturing for 3D resin printing this slice and dice tail light lens. And it just looks perfect on the back of this bike. And the exhaust is custom made, except for the J-pipe and the squish, but just got the exhaust builder's kit from Lowbrow and just welded them up like that. Kind of pieced them together, played a little bit of jigsaw with how they flow and fit like that, but gives it a mean look, and you don't burn your leg on the pipes when you're sitting on it either, so that's kind of nice. And of course, they're chromed. A cool little accessory, Natalie gifted me and Kyle this themed keychain for the name of the bike, Electric Casket, and that's pretty neat. Kind of just chills out down there. And last but not least, Mikey Machine killed it on this paint job. It's perfect. It looks so good. The lines are crisp. There are 0 flaws to this paint job whatsoever. He just moved up to New York, so if you guys are looking for a super, super clean vintage chopper guy to paint your bike, he'll take care of you. He knows what he's doing. All right, let's start it up.